find that place that to dive deep into that that transcension. I'm so sorry. And to be able to tap into that other side, and with it, I do that twice a day, and sometimes I miss it. I'm a human being, and I notice the difference. I notice the difference in my cortisol levels. I notice a lot of things that normally would be a lot more stressful aren't. And I learned this from the David Lynch Foundation. And it was very, very special to me. And Bob Roth was kind enough to gift it to me. So when I met you, my dear, and you asked me for just one 15-second piece of advice, it's the first thing that I thought of, because that's what the Festival of Disruption was all about, was to raise funds to bring transcendental meditation to the world, to the underserved, to people who have PTSD, to women who are in shelters, to now the healthcare workers. David is doing a huge leap and trying to give all the healthcare workers and the first responders a transcendental meditation for free. And that's why we raise money. And as a matter of fact, we just did a Meditate America, thousands of people, showed up, and very beautiful concerts by Sting and Katy Perry. And so there's a lot of people that are involved, and honestly, it's the best meditation I've ever done. And I've tried many, and where I just squirrels in the cage and you really I couldn't do it. But this one is so easy, and I highly recommend it. Now that's more than 15 seconds, but you asked me what it's like for me, and that's basically it.
Wow, that's super amazing.
That's how I found Rebekah, Quark, remember? Through your post.
Yes, I'm sorry, there's something going on here.
It's all right. But that's how I discovered Rebekah. I saw Quark's Instagram post of Rebekah's 15 seconds of advice. And then, it just kind of brought to my awareness transcendental meditation. And then, just like magic, I meet Rebekah at the Festival of Disruption. And that's how we connected. And she just charmed me, spoke to me in Filipino, sang to me in Filipino. And I was just like, I hadn't even seen Mulholland Drive yet at that time. So,
well, they hadn't premiered it in the Philippines until now.
but she did see it at my house. You saw it at my place, right?
Yes, private screen just for me. It was really, really special. Very special.
Yeah, you had the questions.
Yeah, well, I just had an interview with Rebekah on Pandemic Pop-Up. This is a platform for artists that I organize. And I'm going to ask you the same first question that I asked you there, because we're so fascinated by how on earth did you land this iconic role? How did you end up, having a role written for you in Mulholland Drive? Tell us about the big How I Met David Lynch experience.
I would love to tell you that story. If you don't mind, can I just tell a little bit of the story of how you and I met? Because that's just as significant.
I'd love to hear that. I don't think I've heard that.
Yeah, it's just as significant to me. Being in an iconic movie is not anything that I had any desire to do. I'm a professional singer. I'm a songwriter. I'm a torch singer. All I want to do is sing, make a little money. I'm good. I don't need more than that. So being in that film, it was incredible. But I love the connections that I have because of the film. That I think is, like David likes to call, traction. What traction I have, and the traction meeting you both. That 15 seconds. And then I was able to inspire however many people to contemplate the idea of transcendental meditation, and that it touched you, Kate. And then, there I was at the Festival of Disruption with my darling friend, Chuck Palmer, who's my percussionist, an incredible percussionist. Also, we were waiting for my friend, Dave Agar, who's our cellist, who's an unbelievable cellist. And so I was standing with Chuck, and Chuck noticed Kate from across the room, and he said, "Oh, look, there's my friend Kate. She's awesome. She's an amazing singer and designer, and you're gonna love her." So I had this huge hype of this beautiful Kate, and I see her with these big old glasses. And let me give you a little bit of insight. The reason why I'm wearing glasses is because I had a little bit of an eye thing this morning, and I didn't want to scare y'all. And I was like, I can't put makeup on it. But if you don't mind, it's kind of a Roy Orbison thing. So, pretty woman walking down the street, right? Okay. So back to Kate. So, excuse me. So I go, yeah, I totally want to meet this beautiful girl. She had these gorgeous glasses on. They were this big, huge, chunky 1980s or 70s style, but they were like, they're rimmed, but they were huge. And I was like, oh, I already love her, right? She's cute. And she's got this beautiful light around her. And so I beelined to meet her, and Chuck introduced me quick, but I didn't really need the introduction because I literally, with just a second of being in her, in her stratosphere, I found a sister immediately. It was just like, oh, okay, this is my sister for life. And I took her backstage and we sang songs, and she brought a friend, and we had so much fun. And we've had fun every time we've seen each other, and she's been so supportive when I've gone to New York, and she's brought all her friends, and we've sang, we've sang a lot of beautiful songs together. I just love her. So I wanted to tell you that story. And I can answer the other one if you want, but that's a really important story to me because of my connection with David Lynch and the movie. It really has brought me a lot of opportunities to meet incredible human beings, which is, for me, more, it's worth more. It has more value to me than being in a movie. It's the connections with beautiful people. And look at us now during a pandemic.
I know.
But a pandemic, and we're getting together. Look at us. I think we're even more connected now than ever.
That is very
because
true.
we have to try.
So true.
We have to try, and we can't use traffic as an excuse.
No traffic.
I'm sorry, I couldn't come over. The traffic was horrible. So if you want me to answer the question, I'll try to do that. So it was never like, I know the question was sort of like, how did you land this audition or this opportunity? I did not ask for it. I had no idea it was happening. I was not interested. David wasn't interested. It was our mutual agent, Brian from CAA. He has such a way of, he knows David. He had been his agent for a very long time. And then he was my agent at the time. I was living in Nashville, I was living here. I was doing a record. I had already been performing Llorando, crying in Spanish, a cappella, for 5 years. My gorgeous friend Tanya Sans helped me. She translated it, and it just became my hit. And I'd already gotten a record deal, management, huge agencies, publicity. I had a huge lawyers. I had everything because of that song. And of course, my singing. Yeah, there's that. And then so I was coming back home to LA because that's where I was from, or in California. I was just going back for a photo shoot from my record because my record was coming out. I had a big record deal in Nashville. So my record was coming out. And when I was going, my agent said, hey, listen, I set up a little real quick meeting with David Lynch, the director. And I said, David Lynch, you mean Twin Peaks David Lynch? And he said, yeah. I go, wait, you mean Blue Velvet David Lynch? And he's like, yeah. Wait, Wild at Heart? Yes, the same David Lynch. I go, oh my God, really? Because I had no idea why. I mean, I had no interest in being in movies. That wasn't I still don't, honestly. I still don't. And then so I said, sure, okay. And so what I didn't find out until 20 years later was, in the background, the other side of that story was he was telling David, I've got this girl, just like you would in the future see. Talk about it. You would see that scene in Mulholland Drive. This is the girl, right? So he was telling him, this is the girl. You love Roy Orbison. You are a music man. You have vision. David, you have to meet this girl. David was way too busy. He had landed an ABC series deal, like another Twin Peaks, but in 1999, right? So this man is busy, right? He doesn't want to meet another starlet girl singer. No. I had no idea this was going on. So I'm just doing my record, living my life in Nashville, becoming a big old country star, right?
Okay.
So, yeah, unbeknownst to me, that a whole thing was going on behind the scenes. And he was, basically saying, hey, we're just going to be there for 10 minutes because I don't want to meet anybody. Trust me, David. So David finally gave in. Said, fine. 5 minutes. I'll give her 5 minutes or whatever he said. So Brian says this to me: show up on time, look cute, and sing when I tell you to. I was like, okay. I showed up early. I looked super cute because back then I was like really skinny and young. So then, and I went to his home, which that's where his beautiful theater is and recording studio. And I met for the first time John Neff, who's my love. I love John Neff. He's become my best friend, and he's an incredible engineer and producer and musician. And well, he worked with David for years and years. And so anyway, I show up, I look cute, and then and then Brian says, this is going to be real quick, David. I want you to hear this song. You're just going to love it. Rebekah's been doing this. She got a record deal. I mean, she landed me. Listen, Rebekah, go. And so I stand up like a little monkey, like, and I start singing Llorando. Yo estaba bien. Hold on.
Oh, wow.
Por un tiempo, volviendo a sonreír. And I'm singing my little song. And I've sang this song for 5 years. And every time I sing it, like the world stops turning. At least that's how it feels. Pin drop. Nobody says a word because they're listening, and I'm in it, and we're on this roller coaster ride together, all emotional, and just torn up about it. But David, quarter into it, says, if I could just stop you there. And my heart sunk to my feet. I was like, oh, he hates it. The one person, like, what did I do? And he's like, I love it. We just fired up a Telefunken. It's one of only 3 in the world, thousands of dollars. You go in there, could you sing it in there? We were just fired it up, want to see what it sounds like. Just start over, do that whole thing. I love it. I was like, yes, I can do that. I can do that. So I was like, felt relieved, like, oh, okay, he does like it. So now I'm going to right? So I sang it in this gorgeous Telefunken. And by the way, I got sponsored by Telefunken just last year. Thank you, Telefunken. So this gorgeous tube mic, this was thousands of dollars. Really, there are only like 2 or 3 or 4 maybe in the world. David has one. And that's what I recorded. Well, I sang into that mic having no idea, because I was very naive, that they were recording. They didn't ask me. They didn't tell me. I didn't know. So I just sang it all the way through. And then at the very end, David said, ding, dang, Rebekah del Rio, that was aces. I was like, who is this guy? What the heck? Right? And then next thing you know, we had some coffee and a cigarette, which I do not condone. No one should smoke cigarettes, but David does. So I said, what the heck? And we did an American Spirit. And then I was gone. That was it. And I thought, oh, I don't know what happened, but that was fun. Right? And so then I went on with my life and my record. And then the next thing I knew, my agent was like, Rebekah, he calls me, he's like, you got to come back. Really? You got to come back to, I don't know what that was. You got to come back to LA because David is obsessed with your song. I said, what song? He's, well, what you say, he can't stop listening to it. I go, what do you mean? What? And he said, well, he recorded you. I go, wait, what? and he's made a specific scene in his series just for you, just surrounding that song. He has this vision, and it's this whole scene. And I was like, what? Yeah, you got to come back to LA. You're going to be on set and you're going to sing along and it's going to be great. I was like, what? And that's how it happened. I did not ask for that. Wow. And then years later, just like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I found out that David loved that scene so much that he used the scene to like show ABC and then at the time in Universal, like, this is the movie. This is the girl. So that scene was very important to him. And that scene obviously changed my life and the trajectory of my career because I was going to be a country singer. I got into a car accident. Then Mulholland Drive came out and then I became, David Lynch, muse. Wow. And then next thing you know, we got Twin Peaks and no stars.
I always find it funny how whenever someone talks about David Lynch experiences, they can't help but mimic David Lynch the way Lynch talks.
I wish I could. Yeah. I know.
You did. You're like, really well. Rebekah del Rio.
Rebekah. Aces.
Is that your nickname, Rebekah, for him?
But don't ever tell anybody. Don't tell anybody.
So,
it reminds me of my aunt who was like 85 years old. She would say this. She would say, I'm going to say it in Spanish and English. She would say, tú sabes que hoy me cumplo 85. Oh, pero no se lo digas a nadie. Which means like, today I'm going to be 85, but don't tell anybody. No se lo diga a nadie. So funny.
And it was, oh, by the way, yes, Twin Peaks mugs, everybody.
Twin Peaks. This is from my best friend in Japan, Atsuya-san.
Yeah.
Twin Peaks. He makes it. I love it.
Oh my God.
Isn't it fabulous?
Okay.
One damn fine cup of coffee, honey.
Oh, I love it. So,
Aces.
yeah, I love how he talks like he's from the 50s, right? He's always
He is from the 50s.
Darn it.
He actually is. He is from the 50s, yeah.
But so it's one scene, but I think actually it's the most important scene in the whole of Mulholland Drive, because I think that's kind of it. If you really pay attention, and if you like, I've seen that film easily 10 times. That has the thesis statement of the movie, right? Like the No Hay Banda, No Hay
It's
Orquesta.
a pivotal moment in the movie where things change.
Yep.
Mm-mm.
That's the pivotal. That's that moment.
Yeah, I always thought it was shot. Remember, so it was a pilot, right? And then it becomes a movie. I always thought he shot it when it became the movie, but he shot it during the pilot days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And that was supposed to be the end of the series, or that one, the first part of it. That was going to be that, cliffhanger. Why did she just fall? Wait, what?
So what was it like being directed for that scene? He's like, you were going to fall down in the middle of your song.
Yes.
How did that go?
Well, yeah, it was really fascinating. And, I have to say, because it was my first experience and I've had others afterward, the best experience. Everyone was pretty nice to me. And, I was a newbie. I had no idea. I literally had to sign my SAG card that I got, Anyway, so, was there at 4:30 in the morning in a little trailer getting makeup done. And I remember that the makeup artist, there was a very small trailer because ABC didn't have a lot of budget or whatever happened. And I brought a bag in, just a bag of tricks, lots of different things in case she needed them. And she's like, what's that bag? I said, just my bag full of stuff in case like makeup and different things. She goes, it's just too big. Take it back to your trailer. Oh, okay. So, I had that experience. And then I was like, okay. And then I met Gino Silva. He was the first actor I met on the set, and God bless him, rest in peace. He left this world this May, and I just love Gino Silva. He plays Cookie. And he plays the MC that dubs me La Llorona de Los Angeles. Yeah, I love him. So rest in peace, La Virgen de Guadalupe. So then, I met these other actresses, and they were lovely because they were part of that scene. They were in there. They were up on the balcony. Laura Herring was lovely, and of course Naomi Watts. Oh my gosh, she's just stunning. Both of those women were incredible. They're incredible actresses. And so when David said, okay, he had my recording from that fateful day. And so he's like, you just move your mouth. And I'm like, no, I can't do that. I'm just going to be singing along because you have to see the vibrato, because if you're just like, you can't see it. Yo estaba bien. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Por un tiempo. You see the vibrato?
Wow. I love that we're getting.
So I said, no, I'll be singing along, And so I did every single time. And he said, okay, so this is what we're going to do. When you get to this point, I just want you to let go, Rebecca. I just want you to fall down to the ground like you just faint. And I said, what? Don't I get a double? You want me to fall? Am I just going to fall on this stage? He's like, no, you just got to fall down. It'll be all right. You're going to do it a couple times. It'll be fine. I said, okay. So I did. So he told me where to do it. And the first take, I just lost it like I'd fainted. And it was just real. My whole weight, everything, my whole 119 pounds. So I was like, oh, and I fall. And then so he says, okay, we're going to try that again. But this time, if you could close your legs, because like, okay, shall do. I felt so embarrassed. I'm like, oh my God, they can see my chonies. So so every take subsequently after that take, I had closed my legs. So it was the same kind of faint, but there was a controlled leg thing. So it looked like it was controlled. And I think I had done it at least 8 times. I always say I did it 14 times. I don't know why that's the magic number, but my friend who's the blue-haired lady said, "Oh, David doesn't ever do that many takes, so you probably did it maybe 4 or 5 times." But the bruises on my legs told me it was 14 times. I mean, I had bruises up and down my leg for weeks. Bruises like, something, wow. So anyway, and then when we see the trailer, he plays that part, and it's sure enough, it's the very first take with the panties. So I had friends calling me.
I was gonna say, I remember your.
Yeah, they're like, "We're so tired of seeing your chonies. Can you close your legs?"
It was the most natural take then. It was.
Yeah.
What's that, Kate?
It was the most natural take. That was it. So
it was the first take. I think the first takes are always the best, because every single time after that, I closed my little legs like, oh, because I was embarrassed, Yeah.
And the blue-haired lady was a like a PA or something, right? She worked for the set.
Yeah. She's a production. No, she was like a second AD or something. Yeah. She's got a pretty big job, and she's fantastic. And he just pulled her out and said, "You know what? Put a blue wig on her. Somebody go get a blue wig." They had to scramble. Put her in that balcony. Silencio. Wow. Which I think is great. It's great. So great. She's lovely too, Corey. She's lovely.
Oh.
Yeah.
We actually have a bunch of our viewers asking questions, posting some questions. Okay. This is from Quintana. What Filipino song did you sing to Kate?
Filipino song. Well, you guys, the tiny story is that I come from San Diego. I lived in Mira Mesa, which we call Manila Mesa. I've been surrounded by Filipinos my whole life because of the Navy station. Also, my brother married a Filipino American. I spoke more Tagalog than she did. And beautiful Bernadette. I love her so much. And so we had Filipinos in our family. We'd married into the Filipino family too. So we also had a tenant, one of the houses, we had a tenant who was a Filipino, a Navy man. So I started learning how to speak Tagalog when I was maybe 11 or 12. And the first thing that he taught me, because we had a couple of dogs in the yard, and the first thing he taught me was, "Bakit ka tumatahol aso?" And I use that sometimes in the bars, So anyway, but
it's hard to remember.
Yeah, bakit? And he taught me, "Mahal kita, salamat po, o sige na, walang ina mo, kumusta ka, mabuti." My favorites, which I call Kate, maganda pa rin, because I love her. She's forever beautiful. And lots of different words. I learned some bad words, but I don't like those. They're mabaho. So anyway, so of course, the one song that I can sing in Tagalog and the Filipino is, of course, this one. Excuse me.
Wow.
Dahil sa'yo, nais kong mabuhay. Dahil sa'yo, hanggang Kate.
Wow.
Kate.
I got the word.
Hey.
We sang it.
I always forget those words. But who needs them when you could just, everywhere I go, if I see Filipinos, I'm like, "Dahil sa'yo," I break into the song. They're like, "Oh," they start singing with me. Instant friends. Anytime you ever have a problem with anybody, especially if they're Filipino, start singing "Dahil sa'yo." Works every time.
And how
you
react?
end up with a plate full of lumpia. You know what I mean? You'll be like, "Thank you. Can I get some more of that sauce?" Oh my God. And my sister cooks the Filipino food. I love it. Lumpia, siopao, pancit, pan de sal. I got a lot of pan de sal going on here.
That's right.
Anyway, thank you for the question,
Oh,
my
well,
dear. And I hope you're okay. I hope everyone's okay and doing well and safe in the Philippines. All my love to you.
people are putting the clapping emojis.
Yay!
And Manette, the one of the heads of the festival, just said, "Oh my God, I love her, mahal kita." Oh.
Oh.
He loves
So
what? What? Who?
she said, "Oh my God, I love you, mahal kita."
Oh, mahal
That's
kita. Thank you. Thank you.
We have another question from Crystal that says, "What got you into music?"
Crystal, okay, what got me into music was, first of all, I started singing before I could speak. I just born with a voice that God just said, you know what, lady, you know what, honey, you're gonna have a hard life, so I'm gonna give you a voice, so that way you can do something with it, right? And so I've been singing since I was a baby. My first song I wrote to my daddy, and it was from my playpen. My very first song, I was probably 3, and I just always music inclined. None of my family really is, but singing in church, singing at school, and trying to get into bands and doing that thing. I just never ever had any other desire to do anything else, except for I work sometimes too, of course, but it was always my destiny. It was never anything I had to think twice about. You come out of the womb singing, you know. I came out going, Bésame, bésame mucho.
Kate, what
Anyway,
songs did
yes,
you
thanks
guys
for the
sing
question.
together?
What's that?
We did the Dahil Sayo together at
We did.
at the rooftop of the Standard in New York.
Oh
It
my God.
was pretty fancy.
Fancy schmancy.
And it
Fancy.
was that where the festival was? No.
No, no, this was another occasion when we hung out again in New York. Like I think the year after was that right, Rebecca? The year
That
after.
was last, it was the
Yeah,
year before last or last year. I can't
2019. It was
remember.
2019.
Was
Because
it last year?
I met you at the Brooklyn Steel Festival of Music
Right,
2018.
right.
Yeah, the year after, and we
Yeah.
just always been in touch, and just trying to connect. You know how it is. We women like us.
We're both gypsy singers. We meet in the middle. We're just like, oh, are you in Germany? Am I? So am I. It's like that.
I almost took you up on your invitation to this Australian festival in the desert or something.
Yeah, the Dark Mofo.
Yes,
I
We
love
got to
that.
do that.
I almost took you up on that
It's
invite.
amazing.
I almost did.
It's crazy how all of that seems a world away, no? All of this, like
No.
it seems like such a long time ago.
No.
No,
When people would get together and listen to
I
music.
know.
Yeah, I
Do you
miss.
miss it, Rebecca? Is that something like what do you miss most about the pre-pandemic world?
Well, I do love to travel, and I love Europe. I mean Italy. I mean, my half of my family is from Italy. I have that bloodline, and then Spain and Portugal, and discovering new villages and different places. I just love to travel. I do. And of course, I miss all the fans, all the beautiful Twin Peaks fans that show up early, and I'm signing autographs, and they're so generous and so sweet. And I miss that connection, that because I hug everybody. We did a sort of like a autograph show, like a Comic-Con show. The last one we did was this February, where a lot of people came in. People flew in from Italy. I hugged everybody. This was February. I hugged everybody 10 times over. And I miss that so much. And little did I know that not even a month later, everybody would be like, "Oh, don't touch anyone."
Was this the
So
Arkansas one?
I got my good hugs in, and I do miss that. I think I miss that human contact with my friends. I call them my, family of fans, because they've become so close to me. Because we're all big fans of David Lynch. Who isn't? We're all like
Yeah.
over the top fandom.
Quark is one of the biggest David Lynch fans I
Yeah.
know. So he
So
I would prefer.
yeah,
questions of his Dave. He has
See,
a
I'm
whole
just
set of questions.
there's
preaching to
my
the
Twin Peaks
choir.
shirt. I have multiple versions of Mulholland Drive. I
Yeah.
even have the VHS of that.
Oh,
pilot.
of
I have the
course. You need a
Criterion.
laser
I
disc.
have the French one.
Oh my gosh. I wish I was there. I'd sign them all for you.
I know.
Yeah, you need like a laser disc.
You know what? I have the laser disc of the Twin Peaks pilot, but not
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
not Mulholland.
Oh,
The
wow.
Oh my
original
god.
or the Roadhouse one, the new one?
The
The original,
original.
right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the
They
one
should
that is
come
like
back with laser discs.
I
You know,
know,
speaking of
super.
discs, I am putting together a new vinyl, my very first vinyl. So, tap into RebekahDelRio.com because I have a lot of things happening. I have a beautiful free Christmas song that's coming out in the next couple of days to celebrate. Well, it's a holiday song. So to celebrate, the holidays, Christmas, Hanukkah, and also La Virgen de Guadalupe, which is Our Lady of Guadalupe. So anyway, stay tuned for that because that album, that vinyl is going to be for pre-order. I just want to plug that.
Oh,
It's
wow.
really important. I
And
just
you have
decided to do it. So
t-shirts as well, no? Yeah,
my
you
very
have
first,
Show
and I'll
them
sign them. Yeah.
the T-shirt. Show them the
yeah,
T-shirt.
you have your t-shirts, like the t-shirt
Oh
behind
yeah,
you.
this is the T-shirt that we just had. The listing is, I think it's done on the 10th because the new listing starts on the 11th. And I'm going to just give you a tiny tease because I'm not supposed to show the whole thing, but this is the new one.
Oh, wow. Is that the
Nice.
Lady of Guadalupe?
That is La Santa Llorona de Los Angeles.
Llorona, the wailing woman. Tell us
Oh,
about the legend of the Llorona.
Oh, it's such a long story and probably best to just look it up because I'm not the best storyteller when it comes to, actual historic facts.
Like you
All I
are.
can say is
You
La
are.
Melinche is a real person. So, oh,
this is Sunny Jim,
okay,
by the way.
hold on.
Just so you know how much of a Twin Peaks fan I named
Sunny
Hold
this
on,
guy.
cute alert.
I'm a friend. So
I
Oh my
named him
God.
after a Twin Peaks character,
So cute. What's his name?
Sunny
Jim.
Jim.
Oh, of course, it's Sunny Jim. Sunny Jim. I love that. Right. So back to the La Llorona de Los Angeles. It is, well, like I said, our beloved Gino Silva dubbed me that. And it just was something that he had created. David asked him, hey, will you do a little introduction? And he had two. And he passed them by me first. How about that? How nice is that? I'd never met him. He's a classic actor of stage and screen. And, he's the guy that comes out and kills Scarface at the end.
Oh, is that
That's
him?
Gino.
Oh, wow.
That's Gino Silva. Excuse me. That's Gino Silva. The one that, let me get some more. The one that, where he comes out at the balcony, and he
Wanna
just
meet
shoots
my
him
little
into the
friend?
fountain. That's Gino Silva,
Oh wow.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
also known as Cookie. And I love when he goes, I don't know what you did, but they're after you, man.
And it's
Listen, I
fast.
don't know what
He
you
had a
did
great
or
mustache.
said, but they know where you are. Right. So anyway, back to that he had this script too. And the first one he came in and passed it by me in the trailer. He's like, okay, what do you think about this? And he says, Vatos y rucas, órale. The Club Silencio presenta la ruca, Rebekah del Rio. And I'm like, oh my God, no. Oh yeah. Like Schitt's Creek. Oh God, David. Right. So I was like, no. And I died 1,000 deaths. I'm like, please do not make me La Ruca de Los Angeles. That's awful. I mean, no disrespect to my Cholo friends, but no. And then he said, okay, well, I've got this one. Señores y señores, el Club Silencio les presenta La Llorona de Los Ángeles, Rebekah del Rio. I can't even do it with a straight face.
I love it.
I'm sorry, I'm touching my mic. So then I was like, that's the winner. Winner, chicken dinner. And David loved it. And I was like, thank God. He didn't say, got anything else? And thus I was dubbed La Llorona de Los Angeles, which years later I didn't know I would be because I lost my only child to cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And that story is about a woman who was scorned, and the conquistador, the Spanish settler who she was in love with and had children with, was going to take her children and go back to Spain. And she said, I don't think so. So she drowned her children in the river. And that's why you hear her weeping. It's a legend. It's a legend. And it actually happened. The Malinche was real. She was a real person. And so the legend is that you hear her wailing at the river for her children. You know, she could not let him take her children. And then so like, it's just so David Lynch that I would be dubbed La Llorona de Los Angeles. And then my poor, beautiful son, you know, he went off to his next adventure, but I have always been known La Llorona de Los Angeles because I really am La Llorona. I am. So that's that story.
And it's a Mexican legend or a Spanish
It
legend?
It is. It's a Mexican legend. Yep.
Wow.
And you can hear it on the Rio Grande, Rebekah del Rio Grande.
Love it. So going back to Twin Peaks, so it seemed well Twin Peaks was I guess 15 years later, no? Something like that.
Right. So in the 90s, it was 90, I think it was like 90.
I mean, you're
30 years ago. So it's, you know, 90. And then Twin Peaks was 2015, 16. Right?
Yeah. So you had kept in touch with David since?
Of course. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. We've written songs. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Including No Stars, which is a beautiful song. It's an amazing.
Thank you.
Like haunting song. Was this written also with Badalamenti or?
No.
Or
no.
just
I never wrote with Badalamenti at all. I love Angelo. I never got a chance to write with him, but maybe we will. Now the remote, I can call him up and go, Angelo, I got this idea. Maybe he'll tickle the ivories for me. He's amazing. What? No, this was, so this was another thing that my agent said, hey, listen, Brian said, David wrote this poem. He wants you to come over, and he and John Neff, my wonderful friend, John, they put together this really cool track, and they want you to come in and write some Spanish and help them write it and sing it and make up the melody. Oh, sure. I'll do that. So I show up, same thing. Like, hey, David, how you doing? You know, by this point I've known him for a while, you know? And so, I listened to the track once and I go, oh, that's gorgeous. Yeah. And let me see your poem. Okay. And it's a little chicken scratch, you know, lots of different words, no structure. And I was already, you know, a songwriter that I'd been honing my craft in Nashville for years, where we have like a formula where it's like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, out. That's how it goes. So you structure it, right?
And you had a southern accent when you said that too.
Yes. Well, my mom is from Texas, so I actually was raised with a little bit of a southern accent, sort of. So it kind of comes back quickly, no problem. Anyway, so I had that formula, but luckily I was listening to Morrissey for a good week. I love Morrissey. And so I had another idea. So I says, okay, this sounds great. I'd love to do it. Let me take it home and let me give you a couple of versions, like different melodies, different styles. I'll put it together in a structure. And Dave was like, oh, no, no, we want you to do that now, right here. I go, wait, what now? Like now? And Brian says, he looks at me and goes, well, you've never disappointed me before. You've never let me down before. I said, no pressure. Thanks, Brian. So I said, okay, give me, you know, all right, give me a piece of paper. I went into the kitchen by myself and I you know, just started writing it out. Like, okay, this is going to be the verse. This is going to be the chorus. I'm going to repeat this like Morrissey does. I'm going to repeat this, you know, because that's cool. And then I'm going to do this. And then here's the Spanish. And I just wrote the Spanish right there. Wrote my own interpretation of what he was trying to say. And then I came back like, I don't know, 10 minutes later. And I was like, oh, this is what I have. So fired up that, you know, I maybe listened to that track twice and I got that Telefunken, got back in that booth with that same Telefunken. Wow. And I said, just play it. And it has such a weird time to it. It's like not 4/4. It goes 4/4, then it goes 4/5, and it's like you don't know what's coming next. And I didn't know because I'd only heard it a couple times. So there's a delay to it. So you have like, you know, you'll have like dun 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 dun, my dream, and I had to wait for the is to go, and then I was like, what's next? To that place beats. And then I'm waiting for the chord. I'm like, oh, you know the one. I go, I'm not going to sing. I'm going to just say it.
With Moby on guitar.
Wow.
What's that?
With Moby on guitar. Tell us about that.
Oh,
Moby.
no. You know what? Let me tell you something real quick. There is a technical situation. Hold for a moment. That might happen. So I'm gonna disconnect this lavalier. So you're gonna hear a different audio. Hopefully it won't mess up because I have to plug the phone in. Even though, can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great. So probably the same. I just didn't want it to shut off because that would not be nice. So let me make sure that it is. Yes. Okay. My poor little eyes. Okay. So. Right. Moby is not on guitar. Moby is wonderful, but he is literally just there to be Moby. He's gorgeous. And he is, I mean, he wasn't playing. No. That's John Neff. John Neff is playing that guitar. And David too, the guitar orchestra. No. Moby did not contribute to that track at all. That was years before. So again, I did that song. And, what's interesting is that we all know that David has an amazing vision when it comes to movies and music in movies. He puts these iconic songs like Little Jimmy Scott singing another David song composition, which is the what is it called? The Sycamore Trees.
Sycamore Trees, yeah, the one in the Twin Peaks finale.
How does it go?
Like I'll see you in the trees. See, now you got me singing too.
Yeah. But I sang it before. I sang it in Italian, by the way.
Oh,
I'm hoping to release that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got idea, man.
Yeah.
You take me for a walk.
QCinema, one city to the world. QCinema, one city.
Did that on purpose. He would go, you know what I'm talking about, Kate? He would go past the next measure in his delivery of the last verse. Does that make sense? Like the next chord would be happening, but he would still be singing the measure before. And he did that on purpose. That he's amazing. So I think that effect came in and I was like, ooh, that was very Little Jimmy Scott.
Wow.
Who I met. Thank God. He was wonderful. He was amazing. Yeah.
Wow. So this was even before the series. You kind of just like jammed.
Yeah. We were together before. Yeah. And I put it on my Love Hurts Love Heals album. And then when I got wind that David got the Showtime deal for the new series Twin Peaks: The Return, I immediately called him and said, David, don't you think No Stars would be amazing? He goes, yes, I do. I go, okay, done. And I think it was really great that he, played the entire, almost the entire piece over the credits until the very end. I was really surprised.
It happened at a really good ending, I remember.
Yeah.
What was the episode?
It's episode 10. A lot of things happen in episode 10. And so that was with Catherine Coulson. That was her last scene ever.
Yeah.
So it was very dynamic and very special. The beautiful words she says, oh my gosh.
And that's when Cooper sees the David Bowie character, except the David Bowie character isn't.
Yeah,
David
so
Bowie.
much happens in that episode. Yeah. So, yeah.
Amazing. And Moby was in that scene, though, right?
I'm sorry?
Was Moby in the scene when he performed?
Right. So when we filmed it, because I had to go in and I also was asked, hey, can you just lip sync? I'm like, no, I'm going to sing this. I'm not going to change my answer, David. I'm going to sing it. And so he had several musicians, wonderful musicians, and one of them was Moby.
Wow.
Which was great. Moby's awesome.
That is amazing. what is David Lynch? I guess you get this question all the time, but what is he like in like in a personal level, like in real life? What's the guy like?
I think, everybody's, I think everyone's experience with anyone is going to be slightly different because of the dynamics, right? But I think that between David and I, we've had such a long relationship and a friendship, a very respectful friendship work-wise. So it's always been, when I see him, I'm just so delighted to see him. I don't think there's ever been a time where when I did see him at the festivals or wherever I was singing or at his house or a premiere or whatever, that I haven't, led with, oh my gosh, David, thank you so much. It's always been, thank you so much, David, for seeing the potential and taking my beautiful song, this beautiful song with Roy Orbison and my interpretation of it, putting it in your iconic film, and giving little girls, little brown girls, little black and brown girls, an opportunity to see themselves. This is David did that like in 1999. He thought of that. When he did that in Twin Peaks with little Jimmy Scott and Fire Walk with Me, and you know what I mean. So he had that insight long before people were talking about being inclusive and all that. So I'm always very grateful. So when you enter any kind of relationship and every time you see that person, you come with an attitude of gratitude, then of course you're going to get a good response. So every time is a good response. It's always like, oh, Rebekah, I love you, girl, and it's always nice. And working with him is really nice because he's very respectful and he's soft-spoken in a way. He doesn't, I've never felt like there's never, absolutely ever any Me Too situation. And then, and he never just yells at you or makes you feel like you're not doing it right. He's just gentle and really nice about it. He's an incredible visionary director. Everybody knows that. But we have a very special relationship. We're friends, and he says, you're like family. I'm like, okay, I don't know if I like that part, but if you know anything about family. Anyway.
Wow, awesome. Kate, did you have a question?
I know. I mean, I remember an interview that I watched. I sent you the link to that interview, Clark, of David Lynch talking to this guy Mario Orsatti, because I've been so interested in transcendental meditation, and like Rebekah, I meditate twice a day, and David said the same thing, that it's just to really be kind to everybody that you work with, and if you're kind to the people that you work with, then everyone looks forward to working with you again, and he does take care of his the people that he works with, his family. He said that exact thing. So I just, it came to mind again. And we're so happy that you said yes to this, Rebekah. Thank you so much for...
It has been such a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for putting up with I wear my sunglasses at night. I'm not trying to be cool. I just have an eye situation. It's not good. So pray for me and La Virgen de Guadalupe on the 12th and on the 22nd, and all your beautiful saints. I love my Filipino Catholics.
Yes. Yes.
Salamat po.
Yeah, and yeah. Some questions are coming in.
I'm here all week. So if you, I mean, we don't have to. I'm not going to be stingy with my time. So because my stories are so damn long.
Well, Judy says, I love the way you say Filipino the way a Filipino would. So this is
I'm part Filipino. No. But osmosis. Yeah.
And
living in San Diego. Come on. Oh, and I also lived in Eagle Rock, which we call Manila Rock.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
LA.
Who knew? I lived there for 19 years.
In Atwater Village, so that was like
Atwater might as well be in Manila Rock. It's right there.
What's that? What's that Filipino?
You have to go to Eagle Rock Boulevard and go to that store where they have the fish.
Yeah. Something.
That's why I used to go get my lumpia.
Seafood City, right? That's what it's called.
Seafood City.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then also every year, y'all should know this. Every year when I can get it, I can't get it here in Nashville, of course. These people don't know anything about Filipinos. But I go to the Red Robin cake place and get my ubi cake.
Oh my!
One year I had a 3-tier ubi cake, like a wedding cake. And it's like, who's getting married? Me, I'm marrying myself. And it's so good. It's so
So funny,
good.
ube is now all the rage in the US. Like,
It
you see
is
all these
great.
YouTube videos.
Oh, but honey, I've been doing ube since 1982. Okay.
You're an ube OG.
I am.
Erickson Serrano asks, are there any Filipino singers that you like? Well, of course,
Oh,
Keith Aralba,
you
but
know
anyone
what?
else?
I wish that I had a good answer to that. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know a lot of Filipino singers. So but I can tell you the one thing that I do know, that my favorite Filipino singer is Kate Taralba. That's like
Yeah.
a hands. That's given, right?
By
Of course, I'm gonna
default.
say that, but I had to preface it with I don't know any other.
By default, I'll take it.
When you
I'll
know
take it.
Kate, you don't really need to know. No. So if anyone is out there that would like to like DM me or just message me somehow and let me know your favorite Filipino, aside from Kate, because Kate's everybody's favorite. So let me know, because I would love to enhance, broaden my Filipino singing horizons. And just kind of and see what's out there, because I once I like what I like, I stick with that. And you can't go wrong with Kate. She's incredible. I think I sit here and I listen to her pictures. Kate, I listen to your pictures on loop, like on repeat.
Oh, that's
I love pictures,
as I'm
yeah.
working. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love the instrumental version, like the classical version where Dave is on that, right?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes. And
So beautiful. And that just puts me in a trance. The words are adorable, and then they make a lot of sense. And I love your animated video to that. If anyone hasn't seen it, you got to go on YouTube and see it and subscribe and press that little bell.
From the album
Just a
Long
little plug in
Overdue.
for you, honey.
I'm so
And she's
terrible
long
at-
overdue for a second album, by the way.
She is, but and it'll happen. Maybe we'll do something together, Mama.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe
Ding.
in Spanish. I've been practicing
Eric,
Spanish.
Maybe we should do
also
a new version of Dahil Sa'yo. We sing it, our own way.
Maybe Drunk on Your Love in Spanish. I'd love for you.
Oh, I love Drunk on Your Love.
I think that would be nice.
Oh, that's such a great song. And thank you for joining me on my show, on the Veeps show on 1111. You were great. Everybody loved you. You were so great.
That's so sweet.
That was a
Thank
great
you.
song. It's a great
And
song.
So gracious, Rebecca. Thank you so much.
Oh,
That's how I
yeah.
know you. Very gracious. You have more questions
Yeah,
there?
yeah, we have Erickson. Well, actually, Erickson also said, are there any other Filipino songs you like? But you answered that by saying "Drunk on Your Love," and
Yes, but you know what? So I just remembered something. There is a Filipino band that I just fell upon, like from maybe listening to Kate or something. And you know how you just let the YouTube go and then you go down a rabbit hole? Do you remember it? It was a 70s group. Of course, it's a 70s group. I'm so cheesy. What is it called, Kate? What are they called? They're 70s and they're so cool. They're Filipinos.
What was the mood like? Are they all like male? Is it an all male band?
No, there's a female in there too, and it's from the 70s, and it's like 70s love songs, but Filipino style.
That is
I don't remember their names right now. But it's so funny because I looked them up and I still have it on my tabs. I haven't taken it off my phone because I don't want to forget. But I don't remember right now offhand. Starts with a P, maybe? I don't know.
Huh. You know, actually,
Wait.
we forgot. Okay.
Is it coming? No, it's not coming. It's gone.
Yeah,
But they're
like,
so good.
We will be sending you a lot of recommendations because you have a free voice. It would suit you. The Filipino ballad would suit you very much.
Oh, I love them. I love them. I would love to do it. And then when the smoke clears and it's safe to go, I do want to go to the Philippines and perform. I mean, with Dave and you. We could do a big show.
You're
okay.
very welcome. They will love you.
You know, actually,
Salamat.
in the actually, the greatest, what is considered the greatest Filipino band of all time, our Beatles, is named after a David Lynch movie, The Eraserheads.
Really?
Right.
What is it called?
The Eraserheads.
They're very. I didn't know
No
that.
way.
They were
I didn't know
named
that.
after. Yeah,
Okay,
Ellie.
y'all gonna
Ellie
have to
was a
school me on
filmmaker,
that.
and he saw in a magazine an article about Eraserheads.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. That is awesome. Okay,
Cool, huh?
let's do this. Let's do it.
So we'll send you some Eraserhead songs.
Okay, I would
Yeah.
love that, and I will find that. I don't want to get off of here because I would have to like get off
Yeah.
and look at the tab, but they're really a great band. I'm sure all of you know them because they're like the equivalent of the Eagles, but the Philippines, like from the
Yeah.
70s.
Oh, the
You know,
70s.
or
Well, Judy
yeah,
is
they're
asked,
a 70s group. They're classic.
Is it hot dog? Is it hot dog? Judy asked.
No, but I like that. I like hot dogs.
They're legendary.
Can't you tell?
need to check it out.
No, it's like one word. But anyway, we're taking a lot of time for that, so don't worry about that. I will let y'all know.
And okay, we have a question. Well, actually, this is for Mick Vergara. This question because this is his favorite film. But yeah, we want to ask if you can talk a little bit about your experience with Southland Tales. So that.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a wonderful story. First of all, Richard Kelly is amazing. I don't know about you, but Donnie Darko is on the list of my favorite movies ever. I mean, the soundtrack, forget it. Tears for Fears. It was an amazing movie. And I love Richard. He's incredible. Talk about a mensch. He's like the nicest man I've ever met.
Wow.
Best director, so sweet, like unbelievable human being. And let me tell you why I say this, because first of all, Richard is a big fan of David, like we all are. And
very obvious,
you know, yeah, very influenced by David's work. And Richard is an incredible visionary director himself. I mean, on his own, he's amazing. Donnie Darko is a cult classic, you know? And so I had watched it many times, and I got a phone call from Brian, my agent, and he's like, hey, listen, I got Richard Kelly on the phone, and he wants to put you in his new movie. Really? Yeah, he wants you to sing, you know, he wants to talk to you about singing something. You know, I said, sure, I'd love to talk to him, but I'm kind of, I'm having an issue. I'm having a situation here, and it was that my son had been diagnosed with cancer, and he was in a children's hospital, and I was never going to leave his side. So I was there for a few months, and I said, I can't leave. I can't do anything right now. And if I miss the opportunity, then it is what it is. But just tell Richard, thank you. And, but I cannot do anything right now. So Richard, being the absolute love that he is, we talked, and he said, Rebekah, I will wait for you. I will do all the shots that I need to do. I mean, we're talking with Sarah Michelle Gellar and The Rock, and he's got all these top of the line actors, right? He even had Justin Timberlake in there. And forgive me if I'm forgetting the other names, but amazing actors. And so he said, I'll wait for you. You know, no pressure. Your scene is going to be at the Skirball. We're going to do it there. And it's a big scene. And let's talk about the song. And, you know, I just want to wish you the best. And I understand, and I'll wait for you. How sweet is that?
Wow, that's so
So
cool.
yeah, we were in the hospital for a very long time, and then Philip got out, and you know, he was rehabilitated from his surgery, and then setting up for chemo. So we had a good like 2 weeks where we could be home. And so I said, okay, you know, I'm going to do this. And so Richard and I talked about what song, because it was at that moment where it was about the national anthem, or maybe God Bless America or something, right? Very patriotic. And I said, well, I got this great idea. My first idea was to have bagpipes, you know, because of the mix. I have so much in my blood. I do have a little bit of Irish in me. And although bagpipes were Scottish, but that kind of, you know, that sort of Celtic, you know, experience, or that connection, that I was like, oh, it'd be so cool. And he's like, I love it. And then I was like, but I don't know anybody who plays that. And I go, but I do have a friend who has a band called the Section Quartet. He's a dear friend of mine. He's amazing, Eric Gorfain. Maybe I'll ask him if he'd like to participate. And then so I said to Eric, listen, you want to do this? And we recorded. He goes, yes. And I go, and you can be on film with me too if you want. So the people you see behind me, that quartet, they're my friends, the Section Quartet. And Eric arranged that as a 9 Inch Nails kind of version.
Wow.
Because you know how dun 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 dun. Fast forward to me sharing a dressing room with Trent. We went out, his wife and everybody. We're all like in the back room, It's like, right? I'm like, oh my God. So anyway, so back to the Southland Tales. He waited for me. He totally let me, do whatever I wanted. I was very, very big at the time, just about as big as I am now. And then, he let me have my own costumer. Rory Castillo built this beautiful dress for me. I was wearing really high boots so I wouldn't look so chubby and look taller. And it was basically just, this and my voice. So, but I think it was beautiful. I think he did a great job lighting me and, the DP and just the fact that he waited for me. He did all the scenes. And then finally, when I was able to get out of that hospital and my son was safe, I went and did it it was one day. I just went for a day, and look what happened. It's a gorgeous scene. And of course, like, I give you Rebekah del Rio, and then I just think it's beautiful. And I got to use my operatic, even though I'm not an opera singer, I got to use a little bit of opera, which was fun. And I've always had the desire to sing that song at a baseball game, especially like a Dodgers, what they call the Dodgers, which is like a whole total Latino version of it. I think it would be great because it's like, let's see. Dime si puedes ver por la luz del amanecer. Con orgullo organizamos lo que brilla en el anochecer. Like who sings it that way? So thank you for asking. And that's how that is. Richard Kelly is a dreamboat.
Oh my God.
Dreamy.
This is so great. Hey, we
a lot of info.
Yeah, I know. It's been so great like spending this time with you. You are a beautiful, amazing human being. We were expecting a great interview, but wow, what a gift it was to like hear you sing all those songs, including Dahil Sa'yo.
Dahil Sa'yo. I love that song. It's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful song. Because of you.
Yes.
Because of you.
It's actually an Imelda classic. Like
I know. And I love shoes. I was going to say that, listen to this real quick. So I did a show on 11/11/12, I think, and it was a big variety show at this place called Cicada Club. It's a gorgeous place. It's been in millions of movies, like A Pretty Woman. That was the first time. It's that beautiful restaurant scene. Well, that place has big band, blah, blah, blah. And so my big band leader, I said, listen, you know what I want to do? I want to do a mashup. I want to do What a Difference a Day Makes, along with a song called Cuando Vuelves al Mi Lado, which is basically the same song as and Dahil Sa'yo. So I was like, the song, what a difference a day makes, 24 little hours, right? And then so the Spanish, cuando vuelva a tu lado y estás conmigo, las cosas que te digo, Dahil Sa'yo, nariz con mabuhay. And it was so good.
Wow.
And there were my Filipino friends there that were crying. They're like, okay, how did you do that? And I know all y'all karaoke and over there in Philippines, y'all gonna do that mashup right now. You're like, okay, baby, get those two songs. We're mashing it up. I know you're gonna do it. And you have my permission. I don't own any of those songs, but take it and run with it. And you know what? Post it and let me know. I'd love to hear it. Your version of my mashup. There, I challenge you. Don't challenge a Filipino with karaoke. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
National pastime.
Yeah.
On a closing note for Mulholland Drive fans, bringing it back to,
Let's bring it.
do you have a theory about what the movie means, and kind of like, how do like, I mean, it's such a cult classic. Speaking of Donnie Darko being a cult classic, so Mulholland Drive is kind of like, do people actually come up to you and they're like, "Oh my God, you're the girl"? So yeah, can you talk a bit about what your thoughts on Mulholland Drive and the legacy that's brought on your life?
Okay, so my thoughts on my interpretation of Mulholland Drive, what it means, and how it has changed my life and my legacy.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So first of all, I have seen that movie 25 times, and the first 14 times I didn't understand it. I asked David. So this is what David told me. It is a love story in the city of dreams. And I think dreams is the operative word. And so I the first time I ever watched it was at the DGA, the Directors Guild. I was sitting right next to David. The first time I'd ever seen myself on film. No one had seen the film except for, the producers, Mary Sweeney, and, people that actually cut the film and post and all that, right? Edited. But the rest of us hadn't seen the whole thing. And it was absolutely enthralling, incredibly exciting and confusing, and so much was going on, as is with all of David's movies, where you're just like, okay, what the hell just happened? So I do remember this sitting next to David, and this is the only time I ever felt uncomfortable around David, because I didn't know when my scene was coming. All I knew was that Laura Herring and Naomi Watts were in bed together. And she says, one of my favorite lines is, "Have you ever done this before?" And Laura says, "I don't know." Because she has amnesia, right? And I wanted to laugh, but I'm sitting next to David. I can't laugh. I was just like, that's funny. And then the magician, my beautiful Richard Green, and then the trumpets and the this and the that, and then Gino, and then me. And I was like, and then my panties. I was like, oh my God, that's incredible. And I looked to David after it. I look at him and he just looks at me. oh my gosh. And no wonder he wanted that, no wonder it was just like this. And then so everything from that pivotal moment, to answer your question, and from that moment in that film, everything from that second then changes. So after having watched it 14 times and not understanding, I just realized with everything with David is you're just basically going to have to come up with your own interpretation, whatever that might be, which I think is great. Why beat your head and try to figure out what he was trying to do? Because I don't even know if he knows. I think he just puts things together. He has a vision, and it all works out with amazingly marvelous, talented actors. Okay, it's there are words on a page until actors put those into it, take those and make them alive, right? And costumers and lighting directors, excuse me. Anyway, the whole thing together is just one gorgeous experience. So after he told me it was a love story in the city of dreams, I realized, and this is just my humble opinion. Now, I don't want to burst anybody's bubble, but you asked me. So from the beginning, you see she's having that she won that dance concert, and you see the whole dancing, and right, and you see the camera go towards a pillow, and then it dissolves into the beginning of the film. All that up until my point is a dream. That's her dream. It's not real. It's all a dream, which is why he says, "No hay banda."
Yeah.
It's not real. That he's literally telling you, but you don't get it because you're so wrapped up in the whole, what the hell? So all that is a dream. As soon as I come out and I literally like open up Pandora's box with my song, that y'all are going to be crying because listen, this is not real, honey. And then I faint in the middle of it. So from the moment that happens, you know how the blue box falls on the ground in the so-called aunt's apartment, that whole thing, like, oh, Betty, ¿dónde estás? I love Laura. She's so, ¿dónde estás? So all that, I know, I have to do it. She's so adorable. So all that from there on, then you get to see what her life is really like. It's a shit show. It's a shit show. It's terrible. Nothing that you saw before, none of that happened. That's her dream. She didn't have any of that. She was living in some messed up place and just broke up with some chick, and she was trying to, God, I hope I'm not spoiling for anybody who hadn't seen it. And then she's trying to, kill this girl. And, and then I also, where is it? I don't know where it is. I had these blue keys. I had one somewhere.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, so with so the blue key, I'm actually adding those to a bundle. So you guys, when you buy the album, you'll get a blue key with some extra songs that no one has. So I just don't have, I had it, but you know how that works, right? All right. So after that, you see all the things that happened to her, and the reality is just horrible. And so the very end, she just does herself in. And it's sad because in reality, a lot of life for creative people has been has been like that. And sadly, and it really tragically, that sometimes it does end that way. But the torture of being a creative person, trying to make it in that dog eat dog world of Hollywood, it is not a good place. And you really have to keep yourself safe, from the delusion of what is Hollywood. It is a dream. It is a dream. It's not real. And people can be very mean. And as long as you are focused and you are grounded in your beliefs, your faith, your belief in yourself, your position and on the planet and what you have to bring. It's not about money. It's about what the energy you have to bring into the world. Is you're solid in that. And if you can try to maintain some kind of meditation, transcendental meditation would be great. You can succeed. And success is really just you being the best you, no matter what it is, and giving of yourself and giving, to others. And if you so the second part of the question was how has changed my life. Like I said from the beginning, it has given me opportunities to connect with gorgeous people like yourself and Kate and Christabel and Gino Silva and John Neff and all my wonderful friends that I've met through Twin Peaks World and Atsuya and beautiful, beautiful people that I absolutely love. So that has changed my life. And of course, being in an iconic film that has been critically acclaimed, one of the best films in the century. And then, it has, I come to think that, I play a small part in that I gave an inspiration to others, little girls, little brown girls, little Filipino girls, that they see a brown girl there. They see somebody who's Latina, and they can connect it, themselves with that. And they can see themselves on that. Like what's happening in our country right now. We're having the first woman of color vice president. Now, if I'd seen that when I was a little girl, I would have said, oh my God, it's actually possible. I can do this, because we never saw that, and children even up until now have never seen that, and so I think that has changed and has created a legacy for me that I've always said, I have the luxury of having done something in that capacity that has changed the way people see cinema, and also give them an opportunity to see themselves, for people of color like ourselves, and also it has afforded me the luxury of traveling all over the world and singing my song, and thank the Lord I can still sing, and I had issues with that because I had a brain tumor, and they went through and they, took it from here, and it was a whole thing. So I had to learn how to sing. So I'm really grateful for having that opportunity still. Like all last year I was on tour, and all this year was supposed to be on tour, but here we are, all of us trying the best we can. And I think that the most important thing with that legacy is that tomorrow, if I'm not here tomorrow, I'm with you today and forever in a day that will be engraved in the history of film, that moment in time was very special. And it created an environment for people to feel something, to cry, to just go, oh yeah, that's how I feel. That's how I feel. And sometimes people can't sing, or they can't write, or they can't do something creative, but they can feel that. And that creates that roller coaster that I was talking about, where the Lord gave me something, and from the moment I came out of and came into this world, and I interpret that and sing it out. It goes to the audience, whoever's watching. It goes right back up to the Lord and the universe. It comes back to me. It's a Ferris wheel of energy. And so that is my legacy, the Ferris wheel of energy that I can provide while I'm still on this planet. And when I leave this planet, y'all, you'll still have it. You just put a needle to it and let it play. Watch it, listen to all the other wonderful singers like Kate, and beautiful singers that inspire you, and spread the word of joy and love and inspiration. And there it is.
Wow. And that was what we really needed to hear at a time like this. So thank you so much, Rebekah del Rio, everyone. So they can order. Your album is coming out on vinyl when?
Yes. It's going to be for pre-order on December 11th, right? The day before the Our Lady of Guadalupe, the Feast of the Lady of Guadalupe. And I am then going to do pre-orders then on my website. And then they will be shipped out after 1/11, because I have a Veeps show on 1/11, and I'll be revealing them. I'll sign them, autograph, dedicate. They're all going to be dedicated. So they won't just have a signature, because then they'll be resold, and that people do that. And I only have a limited edition, and they'll be numbered, and they're just going to be beautiful. I think they're going to be really nice. It's my first album, my first vinyl. All the kids are doing it. I might as well.
And you can get that at RebekahDelRio.com.
Yes, RebekahDelRio.com. All my merchandise is there. Again, we're going to have a new shirt. I'll give you a little teaser again.
Wow.
Artwork. It's so beautiful. Artwork by Nina Himes, a Seattle-based tattoo artist. And I have beautiful records, all kinds of little things on there that I think that you would love. People might love, and it's good to support, because I can't go out and work. I can't. This is the only way I can do it. And so it has been such a pleasure for me to be on with you. And I feel like I've been to the Philippines.
And now you have to come. You have to come for real.
I will come, and we're going to do it up. We're going to have a great time. We are, when it's all settled. And I just wish everyone there safe, beautiful holiday. Be safe, wear masks, protect your family, protect others, protect yourself. And, this, like my son said, this too shall pass, Mama.
Mm-hmm.
We know that. And so God bless all of you. Thank you. Salamat po, and sige na.
Thank you.
Joining us, Rebekah. Thank you for saying yes. So
I love you, Kate. Thank you so much. You're wonderful, and I appreciate you for hosting. Salamat and mahal kita.
And I guess with that, QCinema is now closed. Yeah, you closed the festival. Thanks, Rebekah.
Thank you.
We will see you all next year. Thank you for watching the movies on Upstream. Thank you for supporting QCinema. Thank you to Manette and to Ed and Renan and Kintz, and always my favorite festival. And thank you for making me a part of it as well. So bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
The festival is
Salamat. Sige na.
Okay. All right.